That's the thing about grief, is that it's your brain only has the capacity for what it's going through emotionally. And so giving myself a lot of grace to not be on at par where I was before in my productivity and performance, because I knew that wasn't realistic of myself during that time, and I needed to give myself that space. And so doing that and making sure that I was still taking care of my health.
Hey, you know how in bobsledding we start with this explosive push? You know why? The momentum really matters. And that's exactly what we do here at Keep On Pushing Stories as well. We explore the mindset that turns obstacles into opportunity. Each episode, like this very one, we bring you real life stories of resilience, perseverance, and personal growth, showcasing how our guests transform challenges into triumphs. And I can think of no better person to introduce to you than my really good friend, Mandy Morris. Mandy, welcome to Keep On Pushing Stories.
Thank you, Devon. You are a dear friend of mine, and it's an honor to do this with you. I care about you so much.
I just love chatting with you, care about you too, and thank you for spending some time with us. I
Absolutely.
know, but help our guest, Mandy, to know what it is that you do. How do you serve? How do you bring value to the lives of others?
Yeah. So I specialize in helping leaders, entrepreneurs, and individuals break free from past traumas or experiences that they know they have, or maybe don't know that they have, but all they know is that they feel stuck, burned out, not able to get to the next level, not able to find enjoyment or contentment in what they're doing. It's just never enough. And they just feel stuck. These are the people who may on paper look like they have it all together, but behind closed doors and deep inside, they don't feel that way at all. And with my background as a clinical therapist, an executive psychology coach, and my training in a more cutting edge trauma therapy called EMDR, I've integrated all of that to help these individuals break free from those things that are keeping them stuck so that they can reach to the next level of life, next level of success, next level of happiness.
Yes, that sounds like really important work, and you're absolutely right. There are those people there who are out there walking around with trauma,
Hmm.
and know that something is off. And you're right; they may look great on paper, they may even feel like they have it going on, but they need your help. How would a person like that find you, Mandy?
So, and yes, to your point, because and I'll just say this really briefly, there's lots of misconceptions about that word because it's a buzzword. And it's not just the big stuff, and it's not just the things that you hear about on TV and the news, but it's something that made you believe that there's something wrong with you. And so we learn how to rewire those belief systems in the mind. People can find me at my website, mandyemorris.com. And my website has all of my social media handles. I'm on LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, and I have a YouTube channel as well.
So, mandyemorris.com.
Yep.
That's where you find the lady, mandyemorris.com. Mandy E. Morris. So glad to have you here. We really want to know, Mandy, your Keep On Pushing story. This one story, I know you have many, where
Mhm.
you push past your challenges to overcome. So please do tell us.
Sure. Yeah, I've been debating which one to share, and because there are quite a few. Um, but I think I'll share one of the more recent ones. I have one that's from long ago that really propelled me into being a therapist, but there's a more recent one that I just feel more compelled to share. So we'll do that one. So a few years ago, on a run one day, I had come up with this idea. By a few years ago, I mean like maybe like 6 6 or 7 years ago. Um, Something like that. On a run, I came up with an idea of combining this thing we do in EMDR, which is called bilateral stimulation. Long word, all it means left and right side of the brain, but it makes you calm down almost instantly. I use this with clients all the time. There's a lot of neuroscience to back it. It's been around in therapies for years. And I'm like, why haven't we combined this with our technology? And so I had this idea of having this stress detection app that alerts you when you're stressed and then can through audiovisual or haptics reset your nervous system in under 2 minutes. I do this with my clients. Why not just combine with technology? So I had this great idea, presented to my brother. He's this amazing tech guy. He's the CTO of the app, and we started working on it. Then it kind of got tabled for a while. And a couple days before Thanksgiving of 2022, I got a phone call that no one ever wants to get, and it was that my our oldest brother was in the hospital. And long story short, he uh, fought for 3 days, and then on Thanksgiving Day of 2022, he passed away. And it was extremely devastating to all of us, still is. It's not been that long. To my parents and to his kids, to everyone who loves him. And I I've been through a lot of hard things in my life before. I've been in abusive relationships. I've survived different things. That is by far the hardest thing I've had to go through in my life. Love my brother so much. And um, so the next 2 months, I really didn't work much and was trying to figure out like, gosh, I, I need to move forward. Like I need to not move forward from the grief that's going to be there. It's a process, but so my brother and I started talking, and we've always been close. My middle brother, Jeremy, Dan is the one who passed away. And this really brought us even closer. And we were like, let's do the app. If if it doesn't help anybody else, let's do it for us. And we need this right now. And that's what launched So Free. And it's a patent pending. We have a patent pending on the technology. We have a team on board. We have a vision. We have a mission. It's in beta testing. We have people using it, sharing their wins, sharing how it helped them get through difficult moments in their life because their nervous system was just so shocked or they felt so much stress or anxiety. And it's become this really purposeful, meaningful work that had been put on the back burner, but we decided to use the pain we were experiencing to help propel us into something much more meaningful and important.
You know, it's always rough to lose a loved one. And you said you obviously lost your brother who you're totally in love with. Um, and you're not moving away from the grief. But how did you outside of turning your attention to this app, how
Mm-hmm.
did you get the strength to move on with your life?
Yeah. Yeah, I think a few things. One, I have a great support system around me. You know, my boyfriend, my friends, my family, really understanding, really helped me. The work I do for my clients is very meaningful work to me. I knew because of what I was going through, I needed to pace myself with that. My clients were very understanding. But the main thing that even looking back, I think is that I let myself feel the feelings and then I still got back to the day. And this wasn't always pretty and it wasn't there's lots of times where there was the crying early in the morning or late at night and I just needed to talk about it, or I was so exhausted that I didn't feel like doing anything and I needed to let myself rest. And that's the thing about grief is that it's your brain only has the capacity for what it's going through emotionally. And so giving myself a lot of grace to not be on at par where I was before in my productivity and performance because I knew that wasn't realistic of myself during that time, and I needed to give myself that space. And so doing that and making sure that I was still taking care of my health, because that started taking, I started getting really sick afterwards, like physically, like getting like infections and things like that. And so I turned to a lot of support to get some extra help to make sure that I was physically healthy and well as I was going through all of this. And so I think the combination of the support you can get mentally, emotionally, and physically is really important. But really, I think it's just the permission to allow yourself to feel what you're feeling, and then for me, monitoring and managing my expectations of myself, because there's no way I could be doing what I had been doing 2 months prior to that, and that's okay.
Hmm. Yeah, feeling the feeling. Important, I think, because as you said, you had to give yourself some grace.
Yeah,
We sometimes try to be superheroes, don't we? When we're
right.
with challenges, and this is what I'm accustomed to,
Hmm.
and I should suck it up, as it were.
Yeah.
But I think that speaks to the app that you have developed, right? The fact that people are going through trauma,
Hmm.
all the stress, and there needs to be a way for them to be able to decompress, as it
Yeah,
were. Figure
for
out that
sure.
stress and then deal with that self-care.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And I think us high achievers, entrepreneurs, high performers, we're the worst at just keep going, suck it up, push through. And there's a time and place for that, especially when it's something mission driven. But when it comes to your what you're going through emotionally, there's a saying in therapy land that I love, that's kind of cheesy, but it's really accurate. It's what we resist persists. The more you push things down, the louder they get.
Hmm.
And so when, we try to numb out on Netflix, food, alcohol, whatever, because we don't want to deal with what's going on inside, it just comes back with a vengeance, even worse, and comes out in ways that we don't like. And so the ability to sit in the pain and to have someone even sit with you in the pain is a big part of how you move through it.
So you had this idea while you're on a run. The creative juices were flowing. The inspiration
Yes.
flowed through. Got started, it got shelved. But then, out of tragedy, you lost your brother, and I guess part of your journey of not just feeling the feeling, but figuring a way to move on with your life in a more
Hmm.
purposeful way out of this
Yeah.
tragedy, you and your other brother now decided to get on this journey to help others. Speak a little bit more about that if you could.
Yeah, I think subconsciously we need to create some meaning out of what we're going through, and there's no there's no meaning to loss, because if we could have him back today, we would have him back today. Like, no questions asked.
Mhm.
But I think the meaning is the fact that he got to be a part of our life, and what we do to carry his legacy, what we want to do to honor him, and in a way to um in a way to really just help others, and in return that helps our own grief, and serving people, that lights me up, that fuels me. I love it. I i get so motivated out of seeing people become their best self, and this app allows you to have a better relationship with stress. And you think about how stressed we get throughout a day, and we don't even realize we are. How many times have we said something we didn't mean to say, or done something and it was like, oh, I'm so stressed earlier today and this just came out this way. And we're always, not always, but a lot of times we project our stress onto other people. But can you imagine a world where you're able to recenter and reset in the moment when you need it? You can be more of yourself, your true self, not your stressed out self,
Mhm.
and operate in a way that's more authentic to who you are because you're not being controlled by the stress response in your body. So it goes far beyond it just being an app. We really see this as a movement of people changing the way they live their life.
Mandy, let's talk a little bit more about people's relationship with stress.
Hmm.
Um, how do they become more aware of the fact that, whatever experience it was has created some stress, which is really why they're lashing out or
Hmm.
just behaving the way erratically in the way that they're doing now.
Sure. So I think it's important to differentiate between stress and anxiety, and the app can help both. Stress is the pressure and the activation in your nervous system you feel because of something that's currently going on. So, for instance, too many demands and not enough resources. That's a good way to encapsulate stress. Anxiety is that same nervous system activation, but you feel it over something that hasn't happened yet. It's in the future. It's a worry. It's a fear. And so, you know, when we the way we can realize are we in stress or are we anxiety is to recognize, okay, am I worrying about or responding to something that's currently happening, or is this something in the future that's going on? And emotions are the name of whatever it is: stress, anxiety, sadness, anger. Feeling is where it shows up in your body, literally how you feel it. And so being mindful of how you feel in your body is one of the best ways to detect stress early on. Is there tightness in my chest? Am I holding stuff in my shoulders? Do I need to drop my shoulders? Do I need to take a breath? Do I need to go on a walk and walk it off a bit? And so noticing the signs that are in your body, noticing how you feel in your mind. Is there brain fog? Are you having trouble focusing or concentrating? Are you being really indecisive? All of those things can be signs of stress. And I think the biggest sign is if a loved one's telling you,
Mhm.
you need to take a break, you need
Yeah.
a vacation, you need to relax. Because our the people in our life that we're around all the time, if they see you stressed out a lot, you're gonna know. However, a lot of us are really good at hiding it. So you have to be your own, you have to value yourself enough to know that you are your best asset, and taking care of yourself is going to be the best way to make everything else fall into place.
Yeah. I love that. You have to value yourself enough to know when you need to practice self-care.
Hmm.
So, talk to me again about, you mentioned the vision, the mission, and it is important work. I can tell right off the bat. Um, Talk to me about that. Where you see the app going, and the
Hmm.
purpose, the deeper meaning behind it.
Yeah. So, so free. And that name uh, came out of when my brother and I were trying to, always the
Is
hardest
that
thing to name
SO
something.
free?
So
What?
free. Yeah. SOFREE. So
Mhm,
free.
mhm,
Like I'm so free.
mhm.
And so when you're trying to name something, it's one of the most difficult things to do.
Yes.
I don't know. It just is. And so we're 50% Greek, and we were looking up all these names and these Greek names, and this one word, I think it was like Sophrites or something like that, but it meant place of sanctuary. It meant something just really meaningful. But we said it wrong out loud, and I think it was my brother, and it came out as so free. And we were like, oh, that's it. So free. And the idea, the mission is I really see this as a movement in the long term. We're making this app. It's going to be a product for people to have as almost their companion in throughout life. That it's not a magic pill, it doesn't solve your problems, but it gives you your best opportunity to solve your problems because you're not going to be reacting to life. You're going to be responding to life with So Free because your nervous system isn't going to be the one running the show. And so what we see is changing people's relationship to stress. Stress isn't a bad thing. We all have it. The only thing that makes stress bad is your belief that it is bad. Now, your job is to respond to it. And we want to help you do that in a way that is grounded and in control, and you feel in control of yourself, and you can move through the demands of life in a clear way. So we see this one thing being something that can change the way you operate in work, towards yourself, towards your partner, towards your family, the way you perform, your ability to focus. We see because our nervous system, if that's out of whack, everything is going to be. Physiologically, it's going to be running the show.
Mhm.
So we really see this being something that can help people not not just have a little less stress in their day. Yeah, they will. But I see this allowing them to have the kind of relationships they've always wanted to have and to really be able to live the life with purpose and meaning that they want to live.
Mandy, I'm so my deepest condolences to you and your family. About your brother. I'm so sorry you lost him. Um, but I'm sure he continues to live on in your heart. Um,
Yes.
yeah, yeah, and kudos to you for taking this tragedy and finding a not just a deeper meaning, but a wider purpose through So Free and
Mm,
all the lives you're going to impact, the movement, the amazing movement you are now building. That is, the epitome of this keep on pushing philosophy, this
hmm.
mindset this is more than turning lemons into lemonade, really.
Right.
It's, truly triumphing over tragedy.
Yeah.
And so, thank you, because I know that lots of other people are going to benefit from the story, from your ability to be resilient and to overcome. So, thanks for coming and sharing with us.
Well, thank you. And thank you for setting up a platform to have people share stories like this. You are also the master of how to keep pushing forward. So it's an honor to be here with you.
It's amazing. Always great to spend time with you.
Thank you,
Guys,
Devin.
yeah, thanks. If you enjoyed this, if you found it valuable, don't forget to like, but just as importantly, if not more, share this with someone who you think would benefit. Looking forward to connecting with you next time. Until then, keep on pushing.